More than you'll ever know. Loving you the way that I do, there's nothing I can do about it. Loving may be all you can give, but darling, I can't live without it.
Peace and blessings, y'all. This is DVJ&MICHELLE. This is a Cold World Podcast. Coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, y'all. Yep. Hope life's treating everyone well. This is going to be a long episode, you know what I mean? Because we're going to just do today and then, because it's our 10-year anniversary today and stuff like that. So we're going to celebrate the rest of the day and then, chill tomorrow and stuff. So probably won't podcast for a couple days. So we just wanted to get a nice long one out to y'all. So we hope everyone's doing well. Do something good for somebody. You know what I mean? Checking on your people. And enjoy this episode. And we appreciate everyone listening. And we'll play a little of this Billie Holiday to start this episode off. This one's called More Than You Know. Alright. Play about maybe 30, 40 seconds of this and then we'll get to the episode. Alright, y'all. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. Alright, y'all.
More than I'd show, more than you'll ever know.
Everyone's a little surprised to learn that one.
Conway County deputy arrested after sexual conduct allegations with a minor. Conway County, Arkansas. In January, the Arkansas State Police Crimes Against Children Division reached out to the Conway County Sheriff's Office in relation to allegations of sexual conduct involving one of their deputies and a minor. The alleged conduct was believed to have taken place several years ago. In order to avoid any conflicts of interest, prosecuting attorney Tom Tatum with the 15th Judicial District was contacted and requested to investigate the claims. During the investigation, the deputy in question was placed on admin leave while awaiting the results of the investigation. However, while the investigation was ongoing, he submitted his resignation for retirement. Despite his resignation, the incident is still being investigated by both the Arkansas State Police and Prosecuting Attorney's Office. New information was reported to Conway County Sheriff's Office on March 22nd, referencing another sexual conduct allegation between the minor and Deputy Joseph Taylor Doobie, who was a friend of the victim's family. After interviews and more information was obtained, Joseph Taylor Doobie was arrested by Arkansas State Police and charged with sexually grooming a child and rape. He then was immediately terminated from the sheriff's office and is being housed at a different facility.
Wow. That was crime time, y'all. It's a white fella, by the way. All right, y'all, back to the episode.
Said that Shannon fell off her horse and she was hurt bad.
Hey, baby, there's a difference between a mistake and a bad decision, though. Those were choices they made to get on that thread.
I just want to know, how did it come to be that reporter was invited?
That's what I'm still baffled about.
Like, who invited him?
And
was
then
it
how do you
himself? Was it the CIA guy? Who? Like, you'd have to put in their email or their phone number
exactly
to send them an invite. So who did that?
Exactly, which means that takes more than one step.
Which I think the reporter said who invited him, because he got like a notification from blank that said to join this call. But I don't remember what he said.
So then that sounds, so then if it happened like that, then that sounds like someone that was involved with the chat.
Yes, somebody that was in the chat.
wanted that chat to be exposed, maybe. Because why would you invite some random reporter that don't even...
Or had them in your... Like, somehow they were in your contacts, and you clicked on that guy instead of a different person.
Right.
Like, was someone else supposed to be in the call? Because wouldn't it say, like, what's this guy's name? Jeff Goldberg or something? So wouldn't it say Jeff Goldberg has entered the chat?
Has left the chat?
Yeah, so then they'd be like, wait, what the fuck?
Wait, like, who's this JG?
Right, but if they were trying to invite someone else that had the same initials, they wouldn't know.
Right.
Like, if he was trying to invite...
Like a Republican
John
reporter
Goodman.
or something. Maybe he was trying to invite a MAGA reporter and accidentally invited
it would have to be this person with the same initials. So, like, you know, like if you were trying to invite, like, somebody by the name of John Goodman, JG would come up.
Right.
And you clicked on the wrong
JG.
name. Is probably what happened. But then just say that. Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. And you know what else? Well, it's not crazy anymore. But it's just like you're waiting for the day for one of these fucking Republicans to just admit that they fucked up. And that just shows you how they just keep... They're Trump's sheep. They're Trump's sheep. They won't answer any questions, but you know what I mean? Because they're worried about Trump firing them or whatever.
You make the case that there are other more important issues, but I do wonder if you don't think that a Secretary of Defense or the advisor of the National Security Council potentially revealing sensitive information to a journalist constitutes a national security risk. It could be by mistake, but it's still potentially putting Americans' lives at risk. If it wasn't Jeffrey Goldberg, if it had been someone else,
We have been 5 minutes in this. Your hit is around 7 or 8. I would like to spend the rest of the time of this hit talking about other things that are a little bit more...
Well, maybe your MAGA friends shouldn't keep doing dumb shit. And you wouldn't have to be answering these questions.
Put at risk by secretaries of defense and the National Security Advisor? Congresswoman.
In this case, thank God Almighty that the operation was highly successful and we were able to go after the Houthis, who happen to be pretty bad people because they're being backed by even worse people, which are being arranged.
This Maria Elvira Salazar is a pretty bad lady. She's an idiot.
They're going to take further precautions next time. Why don't we talk about immigration?
We will. Is that sufficient accountability to you to recognize that someone made a mistake and moving on? Because I don't see that same standard being held
Boris,
when other people have made...
I gave you the soundbite already. I just told you.
Congresswoman, respectfully, I'm after a specific answer. Okay. And that is whether you think that sufficient accountability is forgiving someone when they make one mistake, as you put it. Is that sufficient? Is that the standard that you hold these cabinet members to?
I'm telling you that they recognize what happened. I'm sure they're going to take measures for next time this not to happen. These are patriots. They're just starting the job.
I'm sick of listening to her. What'd you say, baby?
What if Hillary had said that? Like, oh, that was a mistake that I emailed something from my personal computer. They wouldn't accept that.
They were all in her ass.
Up her ass
and out her mouth. They were giving her a colonoscopy or whatever that was. They were so far up her butt.
The conversation that we originally reached out to you to have.
Yes.
I imagine
The Trump administration is revoking immigration program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. All brown people. Right? Now, y'all tell me how that's not racism. Somebody tell me how that's not racism.
are suspected criminals or gang members. I've read that a majority of them are women, many of them mothers. Should they be deported?
Of course not. And I called myself with the same passion that you saw me answering your previous question. I called Homeland Security. I spoke with the Christie Secretary Noem's deputies, and I said to them, look, the last 4 years has been a very complicated experience for this country.
Don't be speaking for us, lady. And they keep blaming Joe Biden for stuff. He's not president. Joe Biden's chilling somewhere on the beach. Let that man live out his final days, his final years or whatever, like, you know. Trump said that the war was going to be over day one. It's not. He said all this stuff was going to go down. It's not. He's been spending all the past 2 months getting back at everybody.
Mm-hmm.
ICE is detaining Cubans at routine immigration appointments. That'd be the equivalent of like someone going in to see their PO and then their PO just locking them up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, damn, what the fuck? Lawyers say 18 people taken into custody at scheduled appointments. That's crazy. Peace and blessings, y'all, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time or day it is you're listening. This is the Cold World Podcast with DVJ&MICHELLE, y'all. And it is Tuesday, yep. And it's Michelle and I's 10-year anniversary, too, y'all, yep. 10 years today. Yep, we have been together 10 years. So, just wanted to shout that out. We're going to go get like some breakfast later or like some lunch, and going to go to the zoo and yeah, do a little reminiscing. Yeah, 10 years, so definitely longest relationship that I've been in. And man, what an adventure. What an adventure. It's been a nice ride. You know, for the most part, it has been a nice ride. And I'm looking forward to 10 more years and 10 more years after that. All right, y'all, but let's get to this episode. Man, I feel bad for, on the side note, I feel bad for Juju Watkins. She blew her knee out last night during the games. So that's the thing with sports, too, real quick. You know, you can be the greatest player. All it takes, you're just one injury away from being yesterday's news. You know what I mean? That's why it's you know, sports are real tumultuous, or what's that word? Real tedious, like, because like I said, all it takes is for you to blow your knee out, break your ankle, you know, tear your Achilles. You know what I mean? If you think about it, it's pretty amazing that, especially in a sport like basketball, that there's not more injuries, like more ankle injuries, and like more eye injuries, and more knee injuries, and all that, just with the amount of, like, you know, just think of that, you got 10 people, like, in a confined small area like that, and everyone's jumping and throwing their bodies around and stuff like that. You're catching elbows, fingers to the eye. So it's just amazing that there aren't even more injuries, you know. I always worry about like somebody like smacking the back of their head, like on the floor. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. Yeah. All right, y'all. But enjoy this episode. I'm gonna let the dogs out and see how this first shot of coffee is. Let me see. Sorry if you could hear me swallow the coffee. I hate that noise when when someone's drinking something and you can literally hear them swallowing it. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. All right, y'all. I'm gonna take the dogs out. You guys ready to go outside? And enjoy today's episode. We really appreciate it. Shout out everyone that's listening. We'll go over the stats later. And yeah, all right, y'all. Too confidential. This is the guy that was on the thread with the Pete headset to them. This is a Jeffrey Goldberg. He's on Kaylin Collins.
Public could endanger American military personnel, but no, they were plans for the attack. And they were texted before the attack.
And there were things texted that you viewed as so sensitive, you did not even publish them in your report today.
I made the decision that the technical aspects of this, including what kinds of weapons packages, the attack sequencing, and so on, that's not necessarily in the public interest. What's in the public interest is that they were running a war plan on a messaging app and didn't even know who was invited into the conversation. I mean, it's an obvious, ridiculous security breach, and he if you notice, he didn't actually answer the question.
But his attempt at a denial also stood out to me because no one that I talked to at the White House today argued this or tried to say these were, misconstrued or altered or this is not real. I mean, the National Security Council confirmed the veracity.
Yeah, the National Security Council, I asked various officials, including Pete Hegseth this morning, for comment. And the first question I had for everyone, is this real? I wanted to make sure, obviously, before we go public, and say, are you sure that this is not a disinformation campaign run by a foreign state, a non-state actor of some sort, trying to target a journalist for reasons I couldn't explain? And they're like, no, this is apparently a real channel, and I appreciate them telling the truth about that, and we published.
Did they seem alarmed when you reached out for comment?
Probably is not the happiest day that they experienced in the White House so far, but they were professional about it.
I thought that as you were kind of walking through when this began, you weren't even sure if it was real yourself. You thought maybe I'm being spun or conned or something's happening here.
Until the day that I received the attack plan from Pete Hegseth at 11:44 a.m. that Saturday, March 15th, and then saw the attack plan said that 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time, that the first bombs would be dropping in Yemen. Until that moment, until that period elapsed, the 2-hour period between that text and the first bombs being dropped, I thought it was a hoax. I thought somebody was trying to entrap me. Again, could it have been a foreign intelligence service? Could it have been a gadfly organization that tries to entrap journalists, which we know happens? I didn't know what it was or who it was, but what I did know was that the obvious answer is that this is a real conversation of the national security leadership of the United States. It seemed improbable to me because why would they do it on Signal? Why would they do this on a messaging app? And why would they invite the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic to watch?
And how many people were on this chat?
18.
And did any of them at any point, when you were included in here, ever raise that question, why are we talking about this over Signal?
Nobody raised the question, why are we talking about this over Signal? And nobody said, hey, who is JG? Because you show up in a little bubble as your initials. And no one at any point said, who's JG? And when I withdrew from the group, you formally remove yourself. You hit a button. It says JG has removed himself from the group. I assumed that somebody would say, hey, who just removed himself from the group? Nothing.
You didn't hear from Mike Waltz or anyone else after that?
No, nothing at all. I mean, it's a level of incuriosity. I guess that's the polite way of saying it. It's a level of recklessness that I have not seen in many years of reporting on national security issues.
running out of time. I ain't running out of faith, y'all. I know about a 9 and an 8, y'all. Riding in the 7, riding in the 6. If you 5, if you for the cause, with me 2-1. Do you really want to come? Do you need you one? Did you only talk poison? Did he feed you some? Did you give that peace for the lead you run? Did you start a trust fund for the seeds to come? And do you trust funds? Or do you trust serious? Point blank from point blank to bleed like a couple freezes and I need a couple J's. Here's no regret, I just need a couple days. Come to get money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain. Need a couple friends and I need a couple J's. Here's no regret, I just need a couple days. Come to get money, no, I need a couple ways. I feel a new strain, so I need a new strain. I'm staring at the stars, trying to beat the odds. We was young, selling dog food from European cars. If you know about the mob, you could die to be involved. Or maybe not, nigga, you could die if you involved. Ain't no robbery involved. Payment price of blood when you take the oath. Maybe it's a robbery involved. Or maybe even worse, but you're riding with your dog. If you look them eye to eye, side to side, it's in the mall. 2013, 20 halftime flying. When anything change in regards to the iron. Get your motherfuckers go push to the essence. Hollow tips love that a pinch through the vessels. Anybody could get it, I send a clear message. I ain't talking about texting, I get down in the trenches. Ain't like Texas, give him just enough rope to do it on his own. After that, I'll post it up back at the crib, get top. Wop over hoes, get your hands out the pot. Put the #1 slot and your little rap favorites. Young, rich, and famous, I'm amongst the hood's greatest. All in salute to the criminal element. Wanna be your resident, catch him in his sleep. Niggas so shook they wanna turn a new leaf. Crying like a bitch when they see the blood leak. When it's all way, stop until somebody gone. Keep thinking it's a game, get your life gone. Whole team, bunch of cowards where they get gone. Give a nigga gun showers, then I'm out gone. When it's all way, stop until somebody gone. Keep thinking it's a game, get your life gone. Whole team, bunch of cowards where they get gone. Give a nigga gun showers, then I'm out gone. Getting paper early, that hustler's ambition. Killer instinct, body, anything glitching. Put niggas on mute, you deny like remote. Into the fuckery, trying to promote. We was in the same boat, till I threw them overboard. Fed them to the shots, give you what you ain't for. I know I keep the goons all raw. All top 4, hope you niggas all fall. Fuck your life, I ain't never gave 2 fucks. Ain't nothing to it, had that ass tied up in a trunk. In the middle of nowhere, they probably won't find you. Do a nigga dirty, you don't wanna be my rival. Now you caught up in the mix, it's some real deep shit. I can spot a mile away, niggas never peep shit. It's all about being on point and never slipping. Niggas ready for this talking like little Christmas. When it's all in, stop until somebody gone. Keep thinking it's a game, get your life gone. Whole team, bunch of cowards where they get gone. Give a nigga gun showers, then I'm out gone. When it's all in, stop until somebody gone.
Just want to go over the stats, y'all. That's Sheila E in the background, too. Let's see. Okay. So, this is just for this month, y'all. Y'all know how we do it. So for new listeners and stuff like that, Michelle and I like to read over the stats from time to time and just, just say thank you and appreciate to the states and the countries that are listening to our podcast. You know what I mean? So let's see what we got going on, y'all. So for the month, we have 268 downloads just for the month. And we have countries listening: United States, Ukraine, Canada, Japan, Bangladesh, Hungary, Spain, United Kingdom, Austria, France, Mauritius, and Turkey. Shout y'all out. We appreciate y'all. United States, we have Wyoming, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Virginia, Illinois, Indiana, Utah, Maryland, California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Washington. Not D.C. State. Shout y'all out. We really appreciate it. And people have been listening to us on Podbean, Safari, Google Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Spotify, Google Podcast, Mobile, Safari, UI WebView, Androids, Audible, and Conqueror, whatever those are. And some of our top episodes for the month so far have been our March 1st episode, our February 28th episode, and our March 12th episode. I just gave y'all like the 3 top episodes that have been downloaded between March 1st and March 25th. Yep. So y'all go check those out. We really appreciate it. And we would ask that y'all listen with an open mind, because our thoughts and opinions and the facts that we provide are all based off our life, our experiences, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? All right, y'all. Back to the episode. Little Earth, Wind, and Fire, y'all. I'm going to roll that out for about 45 seconds or something while I pour me another coffee. Enjoy. Grabbed a cup of coffee. Now I'm out here with Charlie. Let him use the bathroom. Yeah, enjoy the Earth, Wind, and Fire for a minute, y'all. I have to admit, because y'all know how we like complain about how the building looks sometimes and stuff like that, the apartment building every once in a while. It's been looking real decent lately. I gotta admit, because the property manager we just had, she got fired, so they got somebody new. Like I was telling Michelle, though, you know, anytime someone's on a new job, they're going to take it serious because it's a new job. So, you know, things are all looking all good around here and shit right now. Let's see how long that lasts. I'm in the hallway. That's why I'm getting quiet. Y'all know how that goes. I got off the elevator, you know what I'm saying? So the hallways would be super quiet. So that's when I start talking real low. Just trying to add some common courtesy. I think that y'all can tell, like, you know, for the most part, I'm a pretty decent person. You know what I mean? Just because I've been to jail and prison and shit doesn't mean I'm a terrible human being. It just means I made some bad choices in my life. You know what I mean? That's all that means. But I have proof to show that I've changed my life around. My proof is that I'm out here. I haven't been back to jail. Not one time, y'all. I know when I tell my prison story and stuff like that, I know people are probably like, dude's exaggerating. There's no way he's been out for 12 years and hasn't been back to jail, not even once. Not even for a day. Not even for an hour. Like, I don't believe that. Believe it is true. I got released April 8th, 2013 from Racine Correctional Institution. I completed the Earned Release Program. And I have been out. I'm the only one from my group, from my Earned Release Program group, I'm the only one that's still out that hasn't fucked up. My PO told me that it's almost like, it's like borderline amazing that I haven't messed up. And when she said it, because I haven't joked with her, I was like, dang, you sound like, you know, like it's almost like you're expecting me to fuck up. Not that she is. And she never said that. I'm just saying, like, because it's like, for some, you know, to be on parole for that long and to, like, not have any mess ups or any slip, like nothing. She's just like, it's like unheard of almost for someone to not slip up, not even once, not even something small. That's because I told y'all, I wanted to be on the stay out plan. I was sick of getting out on the get out plan. I wanted to be on the stay out plan. I wanted to get released and never come back again. So I had to change my attitude, my thinking. My thinking had to change. I had to learn how to start asking for help. You know what I mean? Because that's one of our biggest problems just as human beings in general. Like, just take apart the aspect of, like, the criminality and stuff that I went through and did and all that. Just as people in general, like, we have an issue with asking for help. You know what I mean? Because I feel like as people, for the most part, I didn't say all of us, but for the most part, like, we want everyone to think that, like, everything's going on great with us. You know what I mean? We got control of everything. Everything's just all on the up and up. You know, so we don't ever want to look like we're struggling through nothing. You know what I mean? And I had to learn to get over that. I'm like, man, you got to ask for help. You know? Fuck how it makes you look. If you're struggling, ask for help. You know what I mean? So I had to learn all of that stuff and just learn that, you know, attitude is everything. You know, and how you think and feel about stuff. So I had to get all that in order. And the main thing, too, one of the main things, you have to talk about your issues. Whatever it is, whatever they are, you have to talk about the stuff. You have to. Because that's the first step, too. That's one of the first steps to, like, you know, fixing or, you know, getting the areas in your life under control that you need to do. You have to talk about it. You just have to. That's mandatory. That's just, those are basics. All right, y'all. Coffee's hitting. I'm going to pour one more cup. Yeah, it's a lot going on in the news, as y'all have heard, I'm sure, and stuff. So hopefully that Pete Hegseth gets fired. Hopefully that the other dude, I forgot his name, but you know, hopefully all 18 people on the call get fired. The only one that shouldn't be fired on that call is the Atlantic reporter dude or whatever, journal dude. You know what I mean? But like, my thing is too, like, I'm still kind of confused as to how, like, what if it was intentional? Is there a possibility that was intentional? Because, like, when you add someone to, like, a group chat or something like that, don't you have to, because I'm sure that this person, whoever he was, like, I don't think that they started out on the group chat or on the conversation about what was going on. So they had to have been added or whatever at some point, and then, like, so it just seems like there's a couple different steps that we're going in there to like add someone to a conversation, delete them, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know, it just seems yeah, but either way, they should be fired. They were all up in Hillary Clinton's ass about them emails. She basically lost the election because of that shit. So yeah, that Pete Hegseth and the other dude, like the main players in this shit need to be fired. Marco Rubio, they need to be fired. They literally put people's lives at risk, because it's not like they were just doing drone shots and stuff like that. There were like literally people that were involved in this like combat type shit. So like, had that shit leaked or got out before they actually did whatever happened, you know what I'm saying? People's lives are on the line. That's some bullshit. Yeah, so some people need to be fired behind that shit. All right, y'all, back to the episode. But, you know, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that because everyone's going to be talking about that. But that's just crazy, though, just how that happens, man. Yeah. So, yeah, they need to be fired. They need to be fired. Look how they were doing Hillary Clinton's emails. All right, y'all. You know what else is crazy, too? Like how, you know how it's like a lot of times, like, these white people and shit, it seems like they get to tell, like, for example, this supposed Venezuelan gang, right? I don't know who these people are. No one that's listening to our podcast either does. So we don't know who these people are, right? We just know they got shipped out of here, right? Because they're brown. See? Alleged, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, how the hell can you tell somebody they're a gang member, but we can't tell somebody they're racist? Why won't that stick? But my point is, like, Trump and his boys and shit, his goons, they get to just tell somebody that they're a gang member, right? And then ship them out the country. But when we say that, hey, dude, that's a white racist person right there. Hey, that's a white supremacist right there. Why don't that stick when we say that about them? Because then all they say, oh, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. Yes, you are. You're acting like one. So my point is, like, why do they get to just tell us what we are? Oh, you're a gang member. But we can't tell them, oh, you're a racist. You see what I mean? That happens in prison sometimes too. They put like a red mark on your card. And they'll put a G on your sticker. That means that, you know, that, excuse me, consider that you're gang affiliated. You know what I mean? And you might not be, because they're telling you are, that means you are. But we can't tell somebody, we can't call somebody a racist, though. Because that's my thing. If you're a racist and you have racist behavior and you've done like racial stuff or whatever, anything like that, you should be labeled a racist. You should have a red mark on your driver's license or your, you know, your paperwork or whatever it is. It should, in your file or whatever it is, and you should be labeled a racist. They're labeling people they're labeling people gang members and shit, and just telling people what they are, basically. So why can't I label why shouldn't somebody that's racist literally get labeled? So we know who and what to look out for. All right, y'all, let's listen in to CNN for a minute, though. They're talking about the shit happened yesterday.
reads the chat. Nobody knows who JG is. There's two theories about the case, right? It could have been Jameson Greer, the U.S. Trade Representative, right? That may have been who they thought they were adding. It might have been somebody fat-fingered it. You know, the D and the J, you're adding J.D. Vance, the D and the J and the G are close to one another on your keyboards, my son pointed out. So, you know, it's like you old people, y'all might just hit the wrong buttons, right?
I mean, fat fingers is not better than Operation Overshare, to be honest. I want to ask a question also about this idea of potential threats going forward. If you're a foreign adversary, it seems like you're excited. You're taking notes. What are they learning from this experience?
Well, look, you've got the worldwide threats hearing today. We know the Biden administration said it was China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. Transnational threats were like 3/4 of the way into a 40-page document. Terrorism was at the end of that. I think Trump administration will switch that up. We'll see what Tulsi Gabbard says. It'll be very interesting to see what she says, trying to coordinate with all the intelligence community.
But is there any way the Democrats don't ask about this today?
Oh, it's 100% coming up. It's going to come up in every confirmation hearing going forward. It's going to come up in every national security conversation. And they're going to make the point, you came after Hillary Clinton on the server. Now you guys were on Signal doing this. What's the difference?
We got your...
She's not like that. Where's her stuff at? This is all hers. All this area for, yeah, do you have it?
Oh, no.
Drunk people.
Star Squad. Yeah, Star Squad.
Do you want this water? No, it's dehydrated in my house.
Hey, Lauren, I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to call an EMS squad to come check you out, okay? Because I think you're dehydrated. That's why you're puking and you're pretty intox, too. So,
yeah, so drink that.
I appreciate you staying with him until we got here.
Yeah.
Especially with the water being here.
I don't. You're a swallow. Apparently, she fell in the water a couple times.
Yep. Remain calm. We'll get the squad out here to check you out, okay? Cuyahoga County. You're in Edgewater right now. Where were your friends from? Why did your friends leave you?
Why does that matter? Why does that matter? I'm curious. Why does that matter?
Okay. I'm just asking, that's all. Are you okay? You look like you got some cuts. Are you okay other than that, the cuts?
Where do you see cuts?
Here, cuts on your hand.
Because I fell earlier, but I saw him taking me to the dog. Which county is that?
Cuyahoga.
Can my feet in the water?
No, just stay right here. I don't want you to fall in. You said you fell in a couple times. I don't want you to fall in again.
No, but I'm going to put my feet in the water.
No. Stay over there.
Actually, I'm going to put my feet in the water.
Actually, we want you to sit down for us, please. Lauren, just sit down. We're gonna have the squad come check you out, and then we'll get you out of here, okay? We're not gonna cite you, okay? All you gotta do is sit here and wait for the squad.
Yeah, but I've had cops that did just this, that treat me like shit.
Have we treated you like anything but nice?
No, you haven't. But have other people that are just like this treated you like? Yeah.
Okay. We're not those other people.
How am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know?
You gotta have to take our word on it. Let's take a number. Right now it's just great for PI, for public.
Let me tell you this. My grandpa, my great uncle is the head sheriff of Lorraine County.
I know.
The name?
Yeah. I know.
You know last name?
Yeah. No, you can't.
I literally couldn't pull any of my school friends or...
You said you don't know any of their phone numbers. You don't have your phone.
Give me a chance. You just call the police and call up the...
I asked you, so you don't know you watch your phone.
Y'all notice all this white privilege going on?
Stay right here. Stay right here, and then they'll come. They're going to call you.
Oh, I'm not. I'm putting my hair clip on my purse. Is that okay?
Just sit down.
Is that okay? Is my hair clip on my purse okay?
Okay.
When it comes to this rap shit, we ain't come here for the chit chat. All the yapping, let's make it happen. We come to give you styles beat. When it comes to this rap shit, we ain't come here for the chit chat. All the yapping, let's make it happen.
Time goes by, an eye for an eye. That's the best way to keep everybody fly. When the truth is in the building, know these lives gon' die. Cause like my man Chad Van say, the vibe don't lie. Look at your hands up in the sky, wave them from side to side. Cause I'm 20 years plus, still killing it, right? Marco Polo off the brick, the man is 9.5. We make the earthquake, I'm shaking it up, like 4 lines. And when I talk about vibe, what I mean is organic. Like planting seeds for the trees we need to breathe on the planet. Indeed, we really take the planet for granted. Bulldoze the granted that's standing right. We wondered and we wonder why the planet hot. Made in this image, are we worshiping the man and not? Uncomfortable feeling every time I hear planet rock. Disappointed in the leadership and the God. Evidence is more than the images the camera shot. You follow blind faith to make it seem unclean. But faith is only evidence of things I've seen. Cause information make it harder for us to follow the discussion. Educated guesses beat wild assumptions. Information leads to knowledge. Knowledge leads to wisdom. Wisdom leads to understanding. Once you have all that, you start demanding justice. Justice is what love looks like in public. I ain't just writing for it, I'm out here fighting for it.
Peace and blessings, y'all. This is DVJ&MICHELLE. This is a Cold World Podcast coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is S. Styles P. and Talib Kweli. Alright, y'all. Back to the music and back to the episode.
Contemplating, I be hating how we coming up short. Filling up court, my skin pigment, new black thought. Telling me lies, ain't nothing about you moving no pies. Fabricating on your Instagram. Listen, fam, you a king, but you carry yourself way too wing. Songs I sing and prophesize. Modern day Holly Selassie. Coke bars, see me a poppy. Now, who wants this 4-pound knowledge I shoot? Still wavy, Rolex on, bitch calling me cute. Hands up for some real niggas. When I rise, you rise. Right now, I ain't got no more tries. Mom's chillin' watching over me, no more cries.
No more tears, right now, no more years. And we can do 1,000,000 protests, no one cares. Cause we just get all out of character and throw some cheers. Eventually they burn us out and tell us go somewhere. But the love is too genuine and wholesome here. That's why the light ain't too bright, but the road looks clear. Yeah, personally I got my bread as a crook. But once I finish with the work, I dip my head in the book. Room in the bed, leave at the head of the foot. I tell you this, hip-hop ain't as dead as it looks. Diversion's the cover of the lies. That's some real motherfuckers on the rise. What?
We some real motherfuckers on the rise. Under pressure but over the rise. Stand up, hands up, close to the sky. About to shake the world up for my 9.5. We some real motherfuckers on the rise. Under pressure but over the rise. Stand up, hands up, close to the sky. About to shake the world up for my 9.5.
As time goes by, and 949, you won't hear tears drop when a young child cries. Made a God image, but tell me through God lying, you're deceiving. Is it racism in the sky? I believe in God, but now me and word head. Yeah, got my third eye. Wish I had my third ear. 7 cents, got my 6 cents in third gear. On the highway to hell, nerd have a third fear. It's deep talk or street talk. It's war talk or it's peace talk. Get the hemp paper, tear the leaf off. Spoke like the wolf, but you're acting on sleep, dog. The wolves give a fuck about sheep talk. The rich give a fuck about cheap talk. High figuring angles, ways to knock the beast off. This is Satan house, but we planning to break the leaves off.
Breathing like Batman, stronger than the Hulk. Running to the bank, teller dumping for the boat. On my town shit, Ben Affleck. Whole nigga, cuz most men just half step. Ride hard, motherfuckers, and I ain't crashed yet. You don't know, or you do know. I'm like Mario Puzo with Cujo. You don't get it, I'm a prolific animal. Every verse flammable. Weird like Murdoch, thinking like Hannibal. Man like face, but I'm wild like BA. Bullets to your head when you talking to the DA, talking to the judge, and I be in the cab cause I think the car above. I don't play with hard luck, killing your homeboy, now you call that hard love. Treat you like a blunt and I'm getting you sparked up.
We don't play, we in the problems the worst way. We get you shot, stabbed, robbed on your birthday. You ain't got no business around here in the first place. Look at everybody chilling, and fuck that, I'ma play the villain. Fuck that, I'm here to make a killing. All money's good money, weed and liquor stealing. Small money, tall money, nigga, we want it all. Left hand on the whip, other hand on the draw.
So what would you like to see happen to Trump and his boys?
I think that Waltz guy should be fired. Because had it not been the Goldberg guy, it could have been somebody else. Like somebody nefarious.
And that wasn't the first time, probably.
Undoubtedly.
You know what I mean? So they're going to look into all of that stuff, I would assume, too, to see what other messages. Because, you know, when something like that, these are adults, too. So this wasn't their first time. And that was just lazy as hell. And it just makes it just seems like they're just being just super casual with their job. Like, it almost seemed like they were just, like, kicking it.
Right.
Like, you know, like a family thread or something, or just like your guys and shit. Or if it was like women, like your girls, you know, just on like a friend text and you're just all just shooting shit. That's what it kind of felt like, just from like our point of view. That's how I was kind of like, man, it don't seem like they're really taking their job too serious and shit. And it's lazy because there's like a room that they go to talk about all that.
Like they didn't take the
process of what has to happen, right? Those steps and shit like that. So I think they all should be fired. So what would there be? 17 people? Because there were 18, including the guy that, you know, the reporter. So I think all 17 of them should be on there because none of them were on there like, yo, we shouldn't be on this talking about this stuff. You know, like I'm getting off of here. I ain't about to participate in this conversation or whatever. Or, you know,
like
there was none of that.
To the, what do they call it? A scarab.
Right. There was no messages of anyone like doing anything like that, like saying that it was a bad idea or nothing like that. Like this isn't
protocol or whatever.
And then the way they were just talking about the Europeans, I'm sick of this, and I'm just being disrespectful too at the same time.
Right.
So like all of that.
The vice president of all people.
Horrible look.
Should have been like, hey guys, this isn't the proper.
Good point, baby.
Channel to be discussing this.
And we all know he don't have the ability to be the adult in the room. You know what I mean? Because you can't expect J.D. Vance to be like, yo, this is wrong, when he was the one, you know, spreading rumors about people eating cats and dogs and shit. And then admitted to it that they were making the stuff up. And people still let that go. Remember? When they were like, yeah, some of the stuff, might be... I'm like, damn, they're admitting that they're making these stories up. People still don't give a shit.
Right.
But yeah, if it were up to me, they'd all be fired. They would all be fired.
Yeah, like what's the, like the recourse?
The consequences?
Yeah.
I think that Mike Wall's dude is going to get fired. But the ripple effect from that is going to be, hopefully he starts talking and shit. Because
Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. Wait, no.
I ain't sure which one he is. I think that Hegseth should be fired too.
Oh, he's something national security.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hegseth was drunk during that call. And you know how they're always find like that cocaine they found in the White House? That was probably some White House staffer in there.
Right.
They'll be in there working weird hours. They're there all the time. You don't think they're hitting them little lines and shit and popping pills and all kinds of stuff?
Right.
Whether it's stuff to like keep them up or, energy or whatever, or whether it's cocaine or just like whatever kind of pills they're doing. And someone happened to drop that shit. And then they tried to blame it on Hunter Biden and shit. Yeah, but if it were up to me, they'd all get fired. But Trump ain't going to do that because all of them, if he were to fire those people that
he fought so hard.
And they're going to talk, I think he will be worried that they'll
talk shit
about him after. Because they will be steaming hot, mad.
Yeah.
They got let go. You think that Walls will start singing? Waltz? If he were to get fired? Because they're going to be, if he gets fired, everyone's going to be asking dude for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
You think he would just start because he's upset, mad at Trump shit, or do you think he would?
Maybe. They probably all had to fucking sign something.
Trump was probably like, here, sign this.
Like an NDA.
If I happen to fire you.
Yeah, you can't talk shit, not even to Congress.
You know what? Someone is going to be a scapegoat. I think they all should be fired, baby. Based off the fact that no one stopped it during the thread. And I'd be willing to bet, I think it's a safe bet to say this isn't the first time that they talked about, even if it wasn't war plans on a different conversation, they probably discuss something that will be considered like super private or like that they shouldn't share.
Right.
I guarantee that wasn't the first. That's my opinion, I'm saying, y'all, but it's just a saying. I guarantee that wasn't the first time. Just like how we always say, like, a serial, like Max Anderson, the dude that killed Sade Robinson. That wasn't his first kill.
Right.
You're not doing stuff like that, and then that just, there always is a first for something, but.
With all the other trinkets they found. Remember they found, like, other girls' driver's licenses or something? Where's Colleen Henry when you need her? Right?
Man, shout out Colleen Henry. She was good as hell, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
She was. Man, damn, baby. I forgot all about Colleen Henry. Yeah. Ooh, Colleen Henry, yeah. She was a good-ass reporter. Yeah. So it's our anniversary, y'all. It's our 10-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Michelle has helped make me a better person. You know what I mean? I do, the majority of the work on my, myself as far as,
right.
being a better, and all that from all the stuff that I've done to myself, you know what I mean? All the decisions and stuff. But I feel like a good woman can help out a good man even be better.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. I think people like balance each other out, like, and like I was saying earlier on the podcast, like, I feel like I have changed a lot. Like, the proof is in the pudding. Because if I hadn't changed, because all of it is really in your attitude and stuff like that, all the change and how you think and stuff like that. I've been out here, 12 years, baby.
Yeah.
If I hadn't changed my way of thinking overall, I would have been back.
Right.
Whether it was for something minor or major or whatever, I would have fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I got to make choices every day, all day long. We all do, from small to big choices. Fentanyl. Fentanyl in America, y'all. They're blaming that on the migrants, too. All the fentanyl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, CNN, y'all done on that?
And so, too, is the addiction to this drug. There's so much more that we'll bring to you this Sunday on Fentanyl in America, A Way Out, on CNN's The Whole Story, presented by Anderson Cooper. A new hour of CNN News Central starts now.
Breaking just moments ago, brand new reaction from the White House on the stunning breach of national security. A text chain with war plans on it gone viral. The White House press secretary weighing in just minutes before top intelligence officials head to Capitol Hill. And now
I can't stand that White House secretary, press secretary. She's
a bee.
She is truly a bee. All right, y'all. But yeah, it's our anniversary, y'all. 10 years. What do you think about it, baby?
I think it's awesome. I do. So it seems like not that long, but yet longer.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Like, what was life before?
I know. I think about that, too. Like, damn, like, I can't imagine, like, not ever have been with Michelle, like, you know what I mean? Because it's crazy, too, because, like, we didn't know each other in high school. Like, we didn't hang out and stuff, but we knew of each other.
Right.
So it's just like, ooh, you know what I thought was a good idea? We could do maybe later or tomorrow. We should go to my old apartment where we had our first
date.
Yeah, we could kind of replay the scene. Like I could stand by that side door where you came in, and you could be like on the sidewalk out there. I mean, it wouldn't be at night, so we'd have to, and then just be like, just react it real quick.
And then we could go to Monica's.
And then go to Monica's and stuff, and you could get a drink, and I'll have like a juice or a soda or something. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Last thing though, before I go, how are y'all doing on the boycott and stuff with Target? We have not been to Target. We have not been to McDonald's. We don't buy Starbucks coffee anymore. I don't mess with Starbucks for a couple reasons, because they support prison labor, which I don't support, and they're also Trump supporters, or they donated to his campaign. So, yep. Let's see what's going on. Hopefully they fire this Walls dude. I hope all 17 get fired, but they won't.
The Senate hearing that will begin soon.
Those intelligence leaders are certainly going to be facing some very tough questions, Kate. This was already going to be a very important, very interesting day with this annual worldwide threats hearing, with so much to talk about, from Ukraine to the Middle East, China, and beyond. But now we have this extraordinary story from The Atlantic about how these top intelligence and national security officials were talking about what is believed to be classified information about these strikes in Yemen on signal, with a journalist essentially listening in. That could have just as easily have been a foreign diplomat or.
Yeah, it's crazy, y'all. Last words of wisdom for the people, baby, before we get out of here.
Enjoy your Tuesday.
And have some tacos. And use Valentina hot sauce. That stuff is good.
I'm going to make you those crispy tacos today.
Ooh, yeah, we're having crispy tacos, y'all. All right, y'all. Peace.
Kylie, and I'm obviously white. I grew up in a conservative white family, and I know there's been a lot of discourse about whether white people should talk about racism, and here's my argument for why I think that not only should we, but we have to. A lot of racism in white families occurs behind closed doors. I've been over at friends' parents' places and heard them say some pretty obscene things about people of color, assuming that I am on their side simply because I am white. Obviously, this makes for some awkward conversations when I do call them out, but point being, the depths of the racism and the darkness that seeps in deeply into these families can only, in my opinion, truly be exposed by other white people, because they will never be their full racist selves around anyone who is not white. They like to save face publicly and say that they're not racist, but then again, if you go into their homes and you hear the things they say, that would suggest otherwise. I just encourage you, if you're a white person and you know people like this, please say something.
For real. Say something. It's crime time, y'all. This was out of Wisconsin. It's up north somewhere. So this was earlier. This was January 1st of 2025. So this dude ended up catching a felony fleeing charges. You know, driving around drunk and stuff like that and shit. So they done pulled him over. They were chasing him. They're like in a cornfield now or whatever. So they done got him or her pulled over. And let's see what happens. It's about a 4-minute video, y'all.
Their own trees. Looks like he's turning around in the field.
Hands! Get out of the car! Get out of the truck! Hands! Get out! Hands off me, that! Hands up!
taser?
Hey! Stop! Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
Ooh, I heard that taser. That shit sounds hot.
Put your hands up! You will get tased on the steering wheel! You will get tased again!
This is out of Jefferson County, y'all. On a side note, I've been tased before. That shit does not feel good. I got tased right dead in the center of my chest. And they charged me for it too, $100. Straight up, yeah, for real. Not bragging about that. That shit hurt. I'm just telling it because people are probably like, oh, you're laughing and shit. Somebody getting tased. I got tased too, so. Yep. Just back when I was doing dumb, ignorant stuff. Ignorant shit. All right, y'all. Back to the episode. It's about 2.5 more minutes yet left.
All right. Gilson, you got cuffs? Yeah. Someone clear the truck? What's your problem, dude?
I was paid to do it.
How much money?
We confirmed just, would you guys ever confirm just 1 or 2 occupants or anything like that? More than likely just one?
Should be just one.
Okay.
They never stopped the whole time I was behind them.
Okay. And it was initials because
See if you're coming over that side and rolling the other way.
Yeah, and then fleeing. I can smell odor of intox.
What are you doing? Why are you running?
I was told to run. I was told I'd get paid and I'd take care of my family.
Okay. What's your name?
There we go. There's his name.
Well, Andrew, right now, I'd like to get you off the ground, okay?
I don't trust you. You can trust me.
EMS is here. I'm not loaded. I'm not going to go to whatever.
Dude's crying and shit.
Okay. I'd like to get you off the ground, okay?
Just because you're in our custody right now, okay?
I would prefer if you just took me to jail at this point.
Okay, well, we got steps to go through. Are you willing to do some tests for me?
No, I just want to go talk to somebody that can actually say something.
Okay. Then I just got to read you his card real quick, okay? First of all, you have the right to remain silent. Having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now?
No.
Okay. All right, seatbelt. I'm going to buckle you in real quick here, okay?
Hey, I'm Cooper with State Patrol. I'm doing the crash, okay? Do you have insurance on the truck?
Yeah.
You do? Who's the insurance through? Progressive.
Hey, I'm not.
Hey, do you have that card in your truck?
I have it in my cell phone.
When I get the door here. Bullshit, did you give some?
Not that I can recall.
You should remember that right now.
All right, hold on 1 second. We're going to let somebody grab the door here. Somebody hit the button. All right, they gave us a room already. All right, we're headed right over here. All right, why don't you sit down? You want to lay down and help you to bed, or you want to sit?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Are you going to be cool with the hospital staff?
Me and you should talk right now without them.
Okay. If we time this right, I think we can get you a breakfast tray. Okay? Okay.
Me and you should talk without them.
Okay. I think we're all going to hang out in here for now, okay?
All right. I did what they told me to do. And I can't tell you to do something more problem because the snitch is her problem.
don't want that.
Can we just do that? Can it get easier? Because they go, then we don't got a problem.
Listen to me for a second. Once we're done here, I will drive by your family's house. I will.
Because you guys don't care. Because the only you care about is yourselves.
Y'all remember this? I mean, so much has happened, but here's an example of some white privilege. So y'all remember when, back when that Dylan Roof, you know what I'm saying, shot up the school and stuff like that? Which one was that? Yeah, Dylan Roof. There's been so many school shootings. But this is from ABC 7 News. This is from 2015. So cops bought Burger King for Dylan Roof following his arrest. New details are emerging about what happened to Dylan Roof, the man who allegedly killed 9 people at a Charleston church. Oh, yeah, that's the one where he, in the hours that followed his arrest, police in Shelby, North Carolina, reportedly bought the 21-year-old food from Burger King after he was taken into custody approximately 250 miles northwest of Charleston following a 16-hour manhunt. Shelby Police Chief Jeff Ledford said that Roof had bought water and chips from a gas station in Charleston earlier on Thursday, but hours had passed and he was hungry. That's just crazy as hell. Dude told them he was hungry, so they stopped and got him food. Tell me how that is not white privilege. And that's an example when, like, black and brown people would be saying, like, white privilege and shit like that, and then white people get upset. That's an example. That's why I'm doing this, not just to pick on white people. And there's a quote here. This is from the Charlotte Observer. No, Ledford, my bad. Chief Jeff Ledford. Quote, he said, he was very quiet, very calm. He didn't talk, Ledford told the Charlotte Observer. He sat down very quietly. He was not problematic. Strickland Maddox, a pastor with Eskridge Grove Baptist Church in Shelby, North Carolina, also described what happened when police bought food from Burger King for the suspect. Quote, he hadn't eaten, they said, in a couple of days, Maddox told Yahoo News. They bought him a hamburger. They just sent out for it. I guess one of the police officers went and picked it up. Roof was charged on Friday with 9 counts of murder and weapons possession, and a weapons possession charge. That's white privilege, y'all. All right, back to the episode. That's crazy. Tell me that ain't crazy. That's an example of white privilege. So when you hear somebody black or brown, so if you're somebody white that's listening or whatever, and somebody black or brown, you know, is talking to you about some white privilege, that's an example of it. It's like you guys get to do stuff that other people can't or aren't privileged to do. Oh, here's one area. Because, you know, 9 times out of 10, because, you know, I've been hearing lately and there's been conversation. Michelle and I have even been talking about it a little bit about, like, can black people be racist towards, like, white people and other people and stuff like that? And I normally just say, like, I feel like we can in moments. And what I mean by moments, just like, if we're in a position where we can alter, hold back, you know, change somebody's life for the negative, like a white person's life, and like more times than not, we're not going to be in a position where we can do that. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, we're not going to be the manager or the owner or the person that's hired the people or whatever. I said 9 times out of 10. But a couple instances where we could, or at least exercise it in that moment, would be like if you have like a black probation or parole officer, they could like, and they, you know, got some of their, you know, clients or whatever are white. If that black person didn't like white people and shit like that, and they locked that white person up, you know, it might be for something petty, but like underneath it might be like, oh, I just don't like these white people. So that's a moment where we could exercise our authority, because we have the authority to literally take someone's freedom away. So that's what I mean, like just in moments, or like if you are the owner, you know, of a business or something, and you're black or brown, and you have like a white employee or whatever, and you fire them. So like in those kind of moments, I'm saying, but keep in mind, it has to be too, that has to happen if that black person is racist towards a white person. Because you can be, like a black or brown person can be racist, like in their feelings, how they feel about somebody white, but we can't really do anything with that other than just like we can call a white person racist, or we can tell them that we hate them, we can call them hunky and all that or whatever, and then they'll get mad or whatever about it, but that's as far as it can go. We don't have control, like I said, in most situations, to like take something from them or make their life bad. You know, for most time, all we can do is just like say how we feel about them, and not even if it's racial. You know what I mean? Because that's the other thing. Most black and brown people, we're not racist towards white people. We just want things to be fair. And I think a lot of white people get it confused. Like when they hear black or brown people, like whatever they call it, complaining or whatever, you know, when we're talking about the issues and stuff, the systemic stuff, you know, stuff, you know, all that kind of stuff. Some white people think that we're being racist when we're just talking about the issues. No, the majority of us aren't racist towards you guys, emotionally or in any other kind of way, you know, because we're not in positions to where we can be racist towards you. So anyway, overall, I don't think we can be. Because like I said, because usually, like normally, like that's going to mean like that you're in a position where you're going to take something for somebody or make their life bad or negative. And more times than not, we're not going to be in that position. And if we were, we wouldn't even do that. We're not into taking stuff away from white people. Uh-oh. Let's see, ambulances and stuff. Yeah, that was a fire truck going up Brady Street. There's a lot of construction going on and stuff like that. But yeah, you know what I mean? But like I said, just in moments we can, like certain little situations, but overall we can't. Because we just usually ain't in the position of power to do that. And like I said, in a lot of times if in the times we are, we ain't looking into like firing white people or making their work, you know what I mean? It's the majority, not majority, but it'll be the white people that'll be racist towards other people. And then we'll just be like defending ourselves or like being like, yo, and then you guys take that as us being racist towards y'all. Like that don't even make sense. All right, y'all. I was just rambling for a little bit, but y'all know what I'm saying. All right, back to the episode. But I know because I had brought that up, probably had to be maybe over a month ago. I know I was talking about that, and I couldn't remember which shooting it was, where they had took dude to like. I think there was a situation where someone got took to McDonald's too, though. Because like I said, I remember when we used to. I remember one time specifically when I was going to Waupun when I got sent to Max. I was at RCI, and, you know, we were on the bus, and we had left. We stopped at a gas station to get gas. I remember them coming out with snacks and shit like that, not for us, but for, like, the other, because there's usually, like, 2 or 3 officers on them bus trips and shit when they're taking you to prison and shit. And then on the way, they stopped, too, at a Piggly Wiggly, like, off the freeway, almost, like, when we got close to, like, Waupun area and stuff. They stopped off, went there and got food and shit. Not for us. I'm like, damn. All right, y'all. Back to the episode.
Weapon was, but any weapon at all. Mr. Ratcliffe, same question.
I don't recall.
How about anything about timing? Ms. Gabbard.
I don't recall specific timing.
Was there any mention?
I won't get into the detail of the conversation, but obviously there was a significant amount of planning and internal discussions that had occurred prior to and outside of this signal chat.
Mr. Ratcliffe, you're nodding your head. Any mention of any military unit whatsoever? Mr. Ratcliffe?
Not that I recall.
Ms. Gabbard?
Not that I recall.
Okay. So I understand that DOD policy prohibits discussion of even what is called controlled unclassified information, or CUI, on unsecured devices. Are both of you aware of that DOD?
This is Senator Mark Kelly, Democrat from Arizona, asking them about that bullshit with the texts.
Not familiar with the DOD policy, but I would say that the Secretary of Defense is the original classification authority for DOD in deciding what would be classified information.
Ms. Gabbard, does the intelligence community have a policy that prohibits discussion of controlled unclassified information?
Yes.
It does. Okay. Controlled unclassified information, according to DOD, includes information that has not been approved for public release. Would you, of what's been disclosed publicly of the signal chain, would either of you feel that that would be approved for public release? Ms. Gabbard.
The discussion that took place in that signal chat group was a conversation reflecting national security leaders and the vice president around the president's objectives.
So yes or no, would you approve that for public release?
I don't feel I can answer that question here.
Because of the nature of this hearing?
Because of the nature of...
She won't answer because she doesn't want to get fired by Trump. Because you know he's sitting in front of a TV somewhere watching all this.
Oh, he's for sure watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There are other factors that would go into that consideration.
Mr. Ratcliffe, yes or no?
I wouldn't approve the release of classified information. Again, as I've said,
I'm not talking about classified information, Mr. Ratcliffe. I'm talking about information that has not been approved for public release. That is information that is considered controlled, unclassified information.
The principals that would have been on that would have been individuals capable of approving that for public release.
I got 20 seconds. The deliberation as to whether or not we should launch a strike on another country, would you consider that classified information, Ms. Gabbard?
Well, the information was not classified.
I'm not talking about this. I'm just talking about deliberation as from principals as to whether or not we should launch a strike on another country. Would you consider that classified information? I'm not talking about what happened this week.
There are other factors that would go into determining that classification.
Mr. Ratcliffe, the deliberation between principals in our national security apparatus about whether or not to strike another country, would you consider that to be classified information?
Pre-decisional strike deliberation should be conducted through classified channels.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
We're going to do these in segments, y'all. So like these, well, when we're recording these are the meetings and stuff like that. So if you notice, like, well, we're not playing the Republicans when they talk because they're not asking anything about the messages. Only the Democrats are. So that shows you right there that the Republicans don't want to talk about it because Trump will get upset. So they're acting like sheep, as they always do. Whereas on the other hand, the Democrats are asking questions like, yo, what the fuck? What's going on? But anyway, so we're going to play them in segments, you know what I mean? We're recording some of the questions that the Democrats are asking. And so we'll just, we'll do a couple minutes here, and then we'll have, just regular episode, and then we'll break in with more. So, you know what I mean? So we're going to spread them out, basically, is what I'm saying. All right, back to the episode.
So I hustle all night, yeah, this is my life. Don't need no strife, ain't right. This is my life. I'm on my grind, I got to shine, 'cause this is my time. Cause I'm in the game, yeah, this is my time. It ain't that night, I'm working all night, 'cause this is my life. So tired of strife.
Everything is real here, homies getting locked up, rent due, bills here, weed here, go here, out of here. I can chill, but I gotta get my mama out of here.
Money is my way, on the corner with cocaine and shaking up the dice, trying to get it right, yeah, waking up stressed out, tired of the strife.
Baby need new shoes,
you know I got a vibe for
homie got 25,
you know I got a ride for
I'm like a G to the wheels is on.
Shoot, a lot of niggas is cops, but they shields is on.
You wanna bet that my life is realer than yours?
My life, don't whole team, bunch of cowards where they let go. Can't believe the gun showers in a mouth. Getting paper early, that hustler's ambition. Killer instinct, body, anything flinching. What niggas on you deny like a rope. An end to the fuckery you trying to promote. We was in the same boat, till I threw them overboard. Fed them to the sharks, get what you ain't called. Know I keep the goons on call. Fall top fall, hope you niggas all fall. Fuck your life. I ain't never came through fucks. If nothing to it, had that ass tied up in a truck. In the middle of nowhere, they probably won't find you. Do a nigga dirty, you don't wanna be my rival. Now you caught up in the mix. It's some real deep shit. I can spot a mile away. Niggas never peep shit. It's all about being on point and never slipping. Niggas ready for this talking like Louis Christmas. When it's always stop until somebody gone. Keep thinking it's a game, get your life gone. Whole team a bunch of cowards where they let go. Can't believe the gun showers, then I'm out gone. When it's always stop until somebody gone. Keep thinking it's a game, get your life gone. Whole team a bunch of cowards where they let go. Can't believe the gun showers, then I'm out gone. He asked me what's good, I tell him I can't call it. Plotting on the loft, I tell you I might scroll it. Same shit different solid. Niggas know my resume. Hey, leave it like a pig outside at Heaven's Gate. QB Mafia like Coach Genosa. Whole team in the streets in the wanted posters. A radio once you don't give a fuck. And if we don't like it, fucking get rid of you. When it's always stop until somebody gone.
Let me go on. Director Gabbard, you are the security executive and set access guidelines for classified information. Did you contact the Defense Secretary or others after this specific military planning was put out and say, hey, we should be doing this in a SCIF?
There was no classified material that was shared in that.
So then if there was no classified material, share it with the committee.
Exactly.
You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security.
You sitting there like with a little
bobbing and weaving and trying to, filibuster your answer. So please answer the question. If this was Director Gabbard, if this was a rank and file intelligence officer who did this kind of careless behavior, what would you do with them?
Senator, I'll reiterate that there was no classified material that was shared in that.
And if there's no classified materials, share. And then if there's no classified materials, then you can't even answer the question whether you're on the chat. This is strangely familiar, and I think my colleagues will remember, when you couldn't answer the question, is Edward Snowden a traitor? Man, I have serious doubts about your... Anyway. Director Gabbard, I'm going to give you this. Tweeted just 11 days ago, and I'm quoting you. Any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of the law and will be treated as such. So if this information is classified, what are you going to do?
Senator, 2 points here. First of all, there's a difference between inadvertent release versus
careless and sloppy,
malicious leaks of classified information. The second point is there was no classified information that was on
the Information Committee should get that information.
And the National Security
Director
Council.
Patel, my time's about out, and I'm going to use my 12 seconds that the chairman can. Director Patel, has the FBI launched any investigation of this?
Senator, I was just briefed about it late last night and this morning. I don't have an update.
I would like to get an answer by the end of the day.
That's a no. He's the FBI director, right? That Cash Patel. Dude looks like someone placed his nose on his face. It looks like it was put on his face.
He looks like he is high. Doesn't he?
Yeah. This dude is an asshole right here. What was that dude's name? I forgot his name. Some Harlow or some dude.
Yeah, my main motivational tool became the hatred. Maybe I'm just way too cool for all the fake shit. Broke bread with niggas I never should've ate with. Nah. Yeah, that's what the town to do. Type of money I'm getting, hold your counting accountable. Never give them a pound, just show them what the pound is. I don't know what they doing, cause I don't be around them dudes. Typical, nah, I can't get with y'all. Shit is going on, and the love ain't reciprocal. Take heed, they got entitlement and greed. They got own shit, I got the title and the deed. Nigga,
hold it back, stepping the Navy crazy. This maybe it's supposed to be this way to play. A little appreciated won't replace me. AC, cooling systems in my brain base. Looking, still howl at the moon like a wolf do. This the new P, the one they not used to. I'm a cool G that rap and got it used to. Used to terrorize the city, holding a deuce. Oops, I mean a deuce nickel. Never risk your freedom for niggas that's too fickle. Third up on my lonely, they asking me who's with you. Cause I seen niggas turn into rats, niggas turn into bitches. I'm simply giving you facts. Love and hate, and then it's thin line. It's saints and the sinners and niggas with big nines. No longer ask, can I live? I simply just get mine. They play me, hold it back, stepping the Navy crazy. This maybe it's supposed to be this way to play me. A little appreciated won't replace me. AC, cooler systems in my brain base. Lucky, yo, this ain't drill music, this boom bap. And I ain't hating, but this is real rap. I got rid of the old me. You see my nigga selling juice, he got rid of the old P. This Kiss Cafe with the 9 in the cachet. But anything legal, my niggas, so let's play, let's flesh. The old head got his life in order. Millions of dollars and it started with a tape recorder. Don't
tell me what the specific weapon was, but any weapon at all. Mr. Ratcliffe, same question.
I don't recall.
How about anything about timing? Ms. Gabbard.
I don't recall specific timing.
Was there any mention?
I won't get into the detail of the conversation, but obviously there was a significant amount of planning and internal discussions that had occurred prior to and outside of this signal chat.
Mr. Ratcliffe, you're nodding your head. Any mention of any military unit whatsoever? Mr. Ratcliffe?
Not that I recall.
Ms. Gabbard?
Not that I recall.
Okay. So I understand that DOD policy prohibits discussion of even what is called controlled unclassified information, or CUI, on unsecured devices. Are both of you aware of that DOD?
This is Senator Mark Kelly, Democrat from Arizona, asking them about that bullshit with the texts.
Not familiar with the DOD policy, but I would say that the Secretary of Defense is the original classification authority for DOD in deciding what would be classified information.
Ms. Gabbard, does the intelligence community have a policy that prohibits discussion of controlled unclassified information?
Yes.
It does. Okay. Controlled unclassified information, according to DOD, includes information that is information that has not been approved for public release. Would you of what's been disclosed publicly of the signal chain, would either of you feel that that would be approved for public release? Ms. Gabbard.
The discussion that took place in that Signal chat group was a conversation reflecting national security leaders and the vice president around the president's objectives.
So yes or no, would you approve that for public release?
I don't feel I can answer that question here.
Because of the nature of this hearing?
Because of the nature
of... She won't answer it because she doesn't want to get fired by Trump. Because you know he's sitting in front of a TV somewhere watching all this.
Oh, he's for sure watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There are other factors that would go into that consideration.
Mr. Ratcliffe, yes or no?
I wouldn't approve the release of classified information. Again, as I've said,
I'm not talking about classified information, Mr. Ratcliffe. I'm talking about information that has not been approved for public release. That is information that is considered controlled, unclassified information.
The principles that would have been on that would have been individuals capable of approving that for public release.
I got 20 seconds. The deliberation as to whether or not we should launch a strike on another country, would you consider that classified information, Ms. Gabbard?
Well, the information was not classified.
I'm not talking about this. I'm just talking about deliberation as from principles as to whether or not we should launch a strike on another country. Would you consider that classified information? I'm not talking about what happened this week.
There are other factors that would go into determining that classification.
Mr. Ratcliffe, the deliberation between principals in our national security apparatus about whether or not to strike another country, would you consider that to be classified information?
Pre-decisional strike deliberation should be conducted through classified channels.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
We're going to do these in segments, y'all. So like these, well, when we're recording these are the meetings and stuff like that. So if you notice, like, well, we're not playing the Republicans when they talk because they're not asking anything about the messages. Only the Democrats are. So that shows you right there that the Republicans don't want to talk about it because Trump would get upset. So they're acting like sheep, as they always do. Whereas on the other hand, the Democrats are asking questions like, yo, what the fuck? What's going on? But anyway, so we're going to play them in segments, you know what I mean? We're recording some of the questions that the Democrats are asking. And so we'll just, we'll do a couple minutes here and then we'll have, just regular episode and then we'll break in with more. So you know what I mean? So we're going to spread them out, basically is what I'm saying. All right, back to the episode.
So I hustle all night, yeah, this is my life, Don't need no strike, ain't right. This is my life, I'm on my grind, I got to shine, 'cause this is my time, Just hustling to get mine, yeah, this is my time, It ain't that night, I'm working all night, this is my life, so tired of all strike.
Everything is real here, homies getting locked up, rent due, bills here, weed here, dope here, powder here. I can chill, but I gotta get my mama out of here.
Money is my wife, on the corner with cocaine and shaking up the dice. Trying to get it right, yeah, waking up stressed out, tired of the strife.
Baby need new shoes.
You know I got 'em vibe for 'em.
We got 25.
You know I got 'em ride for 'em.
Like a G to the wheels is on.
Shoot a lot of niggas is cops, but they shields is on.
Don't you wanna bet that my life is realer than yours?
And the notion there's not even acknowledgement of, hey, gosh, we screwed up, is stunning to me. And the idea somehow, well, none of this was classified, but we can't talk about it here. You can't have it both ways.
I think the witness's point is that they can't speak for every official in the government who has original classification authority.
Sure, I don't. That's not what I'm not trying to litigate that. I'm trying to litigate on the face, unless, as Senator Bennett said, this reporter is somehow making this all up. And I think the White House has acknowledged that the text chain that he submitted was authentic. It strains my mind to think, it strains my mind if the shoe had been on the other foot, what my colleagues would be saying about this. And again, we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I appreciate your comments, but you guys have both testified under law. There's nothing classified in that information. There's nothing, in a sense, I've not heard either one of you say, gosh, we screwed up. So we'll find out. This is too important to our national security. And again, I know we've got more members to us.
On the horn, tooting as loud as I could. And this nurse come running out, and I says, we need a doctor. I said, I'll run to the front and tell him she's hurt bad.
Shannon's lifeless body was wheeled into the emergency room, where doctors checked for vital signs. There weren't any.
And you white people that are here, why I have you here, I want you to stop this ghost stuff. TV, you're obsessed with it. The ghost channel, celebrity ghosts. The ghosts touch me. I slept with the ghosts. The ghosts kiss me. Real ghost stories. Ghosts. Ghosts. International ghosts. Ghosts that don't speak English. Ghosts. White folks, there are no ghosts. There are no ghosts. It's all in your mind. Get off the meth and the crack. There are no ghosts. There are no ghosts, white folks, and I can prove it. If there were ghosts, slaves would come back and fuck you up. You do know that.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. We truly appreciate it. And until the next one, peace. Enjoy this. This is Alchemist. Little instrumental.
I'm just trying to travel in time, speak on the thoughts that I had on my mind, reminisce on the days that I had on the grind, but I'm still on the grind, years bathroom time. I'm just trying to travel in time, speak on the thoughts that I had on my mind, reminisce on the days that I had on the grind, but I'm still on the grind, years bathroom time. Ghost. We made it and celebrated, seen the sucker shit coming, my nigga, I elevated.